Welcome to this training. My name is Dena Ratliff, and I am the Grant Administrator for KDLA. This training has been prepared for libraries that have received a Public Library Facilities Construction Grant and are still in the construction phase of their project. Libraries that are still undergoing construction or renovation and have not completed an audit on the construction project are required to fill out 2 semi-annual reports each year. During this training, we will review basic grant requirements. We'll learn how to access your grant project in Submittable and locate grant forms, and we'll also go over how to fill out the semi-annual report form. Reporting periods for the construction grant follow the calendar year from January to December. The first semi-annual report covers the period from January 1st through June 30th, and this report is due July 31st of every year. The second semi-annual report covers the period from July 1st through December 31st, and this report is always due January 31st of every year. If you need more time to complete these reports, please contact us. KDLA will send report reminders through the Submittable messaging app about a month before the report is due. The email will come from an address ending in @email.submittable.com. And at the bottom of that email, there will be a link that will take you to the KDLA grants portal, so you can begin filling out this form right away. If you do not have time to fill out the form right away, the grants portal can be accessed by going to kdla.submittable.com/submit. I suggest you bookmark this web page to make it easier to find. Once you reach the KDLA grants portal, click on View Your Submissions at the top right of the screen to log into your account. Submittable works like most online applications. You will be asked to log in with your username and password. The username should be your work email. If you have trouble signing in, try resetting your password. You will need to check your email for a reset password link. If you do not receive a reset password email, you will need to check your junk folder for the following email: notifications@email.submittable.com. KDLA does not have access to your password information and is unable to assist with resetting passwords. If you are unable to reset your password, please contact Submittable at support@submittable.com. Once you are logged into Submittable, the submissions page will be the first page that you will see. To access all documents, forms, and messages associated with your construction grant project, select the grant name in the submission column. Once you have selected the grant project name, a web page will open with 4 tabs at the top. These tabs are labeled Activity, Messages, Forms, Note, and Award and Payments. To access the semi-annual report, select the Forms tab. On the Forms tab, you can view the initial form that you filled out during registration. When you registered your project, you uploaded the original application for the grant. So if you ever need a copy of this application, you can open up this initial form by selecting the drop-down arrow on the right. The original grant application is located in this form. To access the semi-annual form, scroll down to Additional Forms and select Open next to the form that you need to complete. Once you have opened the semi-annual report, please make sure that you read the instructions before starting, as they may change from year to year. If another person needs to help fill out the form, such as a bookkeeper or an accountant, please select Manage Collaborators and follow the directions. Please do not share your passwords with other people. To add a collaborator, all you need to do is enter the email address of the person who needs to help complete the form, and then select Invite. They will receive an email invitation with a link that will direct them to Submittable to work on the form. You will begin filling out the report by entering General Library Information in Section 1. You will also be asked if the library keeps grant funds in a separate bank account from general funds. This is a grant requirement. Grant recipients that aren't currently following this guideline will need to work with their boards to create a bank account designated for grant funds. Often new directors will come on board and they will consolidate checking accounts, not understanding these guidelines. So this question will be asked every year as a reminder to keep grant funds separate from other library funds. Section 1 questions are also designed to remind recipients that they must maintain compliance with the Department for Local Government, or the DLG. The State Fiscal Office and DLG may delay grant payments if a library is non-compliant. A library may be considered non-compliant if they have not submitted required documents such as audits or budgets on time. When this happens, the library's account is placed on hold, which prevents payments from being issued. Should a grant recipient become non-compliant, they must work to resolve issues as soon as possible. In Section 2 of the report, financial information is gathered. The instruction for this section will provide the time period that you need to report on. For semi-annual report number 1, you will report on activities that occurred between January 1st and June 30th. And for the second semi-annual report, you will report on activities that occur between July 1st and December 31st. When completing the table, make sure that you fill in all line items, even if the value is 0. This will ensure that your form populates correctly. Now under Section 2, line 2 in column B, you will need to record the total construction funds that the library has received from the beginning of the grant to the current date. This is often misreported. To avoid errors, make sure that you set up an Excel spreadsheet and track your annual payments. But you can also double check the amounts that were reported on the last year's report to compare to see if amounts are correct. In line 3, you will report the total grant funds applied towards the debt retirement to date. This will be either June 30th or December 31st. Do not include payments from other funding sources. Only include grant funds applied towards the debt. For example, if your debt payment was $100,000 a year and you receive $50,000 from KDLA every year to put towards the grant, you would enter $400,000 in line 3. Please note that no other funding source was included in this example. Library accounting records should help you verify that this number is correct. Line 4 auto-calculates, and it should reflect the amount of grant funds the library has on hand in the designated grant checking account. Earned interest should not be included in this number. If these numbers are not consistent with verifying documents, check your math and financial records to try to identify the issue. If you're still having trouble, please contact me. Lines 5 through 7 in Section 2 deal with interest earned on construction grant funds. In line 5, you need to record the total amount of interest earned on grant funds from the start of the grant. Interest earned can be located on your bank statements. Enter 0 if no interest was earned at all. In line 6, you need to record the total interest earned that has been applied towards the debt payment. So the library really needs to track interest earned and track the payments that were made. Again, if no interest earned has been applied towards the debt payment, enter 0. Grant recipients are now required to upload bank statements and any other accounting documents that will help verify that the library has a bank account set up for the purpose of depositing grant funds and to verify earned interest amounts. To upload documents, simply select Choose File and attach the appropriate documents. Please make sure that you redact account information before uploading your documents, and also make sure that files are in PDF format. Section 3 covers the percent of project completion and includes all funding sources. This information gives KDLA an idea of where you are in the construction phase of your project. In line 2 of Section 3, you will enter the total approved budget amount for the project. Libraries should maintain a construction budget internally as evidence of good financial controls and practices. However, if you do not maintain one, you should try to work with your board and accountant or bookkeeper to create a budget and figure out processes to manage that budget. We do not require that the library provide a copy of that budget when filing reports. However, if there are questions or concerns later on, the library may be asked to provide a copy. In Section 4, you will report on construction activities, such as progress that was made or any setbacks you've had. This can be brief, but needs to include details to help us understand where you are in your grant project. Activities should only cover the reporting period. You do not need to give a full accounting of the project for the full year or even from the start of the grant. Also in Section 4, you will be asked if the construction of the building or renovation is completed and if all invoices have been paid. If construction is done and invoices have all been paid, you will need to schedule an audit of the construction project with a certified public accountant. We also ask that the library upload any photos of your project that you want to share with the public. Simply select Choose Files and upload the photos from your device. These photos will help KDLA advocate for the continuance of this grant. This is optional. You do not have to upload photos. In Section 5, you will mark the boxes to certify the report is correct and to verify that your signature that you're going to type in is your digital signature. You'll simply then type in your signature, your title, and the date you signed the form. Section 6 is for KDLA use only. Please do not enter any information in this section. Don't forget to select Submit Form at the bottom of Section 7. If you can't finish the form in one session, make sure you save the draft and you can come back to it at a later time. Once you have submitted the form, the grant administrator, who will most likely be me, will review your report and approve it and add my signature to the form. You will then receive an automated response that the report has been approved. Occasionally, KDLA will receive reports where the information reported does not match our records. If this happens, KDLA will contact you through the Submittable messaging app with questions and ask for clarification. If the report needs to be amended, we can open up the report form for editing, and we will email the grant recipient with instructions on how to amend the report. If you want to view the submitted report, simply return to the Forms tab and scroll down to the bottom of the page. And under the title section, there's a column that has a list of completed forms. This list is displayed by the date the report was submitted, and the form can be viewed by clicking on the blue link. So there are a few things that you can do to make filling out grant reports easier. First, you can use the previous report to help guide you in filling out the report information for the current time period. These reports are maintained in the form section of Submittable. But if you need a previous report that is not saved in Submittable and you are able to locate a copy, please make sure you reach out to KDLA. We should be able to locate one for you. Also, make sure that you have an efficient way to track grant payments and deposits and earned interest. A simple Excel spreadsheet is the best way to do this. If you need help setting up this template, please contact me. Also, I highly suggest that you make a succession plan to transfer grant records to an incoming director. Directors should always have a file or folder that contains important information and passwords to pass on to incoming directors, or so you can take a vacation once in a while. The PLFC grant information should be included in that succession plan. I want to remind you that the construction grant documents are subject to open records laws and schedules. Grant documents should be kept 3 years after the final grant closeout report has been completed and approved. So for a 20-year grant period, that is a long time to maintain records. We hope that Submittable will help both our libraries and KDLA keep track of our records better. I'm available to help you with Submittable and filling out your forms during office hours. However, I don't have a lot of control over technical issues, and sometimes you need my assistance or need help outside of office hours. So if you do need technical assistance, With Submittable, you can click on the orange circle with a magnifying glass at the bottom of the Submittable page. You can contact Submittable directly by selecting Messages. They're usually pretty good about responding within 2 hours that they are open for business. You can also enter search topics in the Search for Help field to access documents and videos pertaining to Submittable. And when you're done with the help desk, you simply click on the orange drop-down arrow to close that window. This wraps up our training on how to complete the semi-annual PLFC grant report. If you still have questions regarding your grant project or completing these reports, please contact me through email at kdla.librarygrants@ky.gov.